All right, we back. YouTube, we are back. We are back. What's going on, everybody? And this was a request. People want to know what I think about Roth IRAs compared to 401ks. And they specifically asked for Graham Stephan, who's probably the top dog when it comes to personal finance content. His channel's the biggest, I would say, probably. And I've watched a fair amount of his videos. I like Graham. Very smart. More frugal than I am, but he's got some dope content. So with that being said, I don't know if y'all ready, but if you just got here, definitely smash the like button. If you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? And let's get to this money talk. Let's get to this bag talk. Let's do it. Here we go. Graham Stephan.
What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So here's a question that's been coming up a lot recently, and this is a very confusing question for most people. And that is this: what is better to invest in, a Roth IRA or traditional 401k? Now, this is actually a somewhat complicated answer, and it's definitely not a one-size-fits-all approach. So I figured I would just take the time.
I will say this, just off the bat, this is my mindset right here. This is where my head is at. If you have a 401k, where your employer matches, it's not even an argument. Whatever your employer matches, that is going to be the better option. The 401k is going to be the better option every single time.
To make this video to break down exactly which one would be best for you and which one is going to give you the most amount of money in the long run. And seriously though, if you're at all confused about which one you should be investing in or which one would be better for you, just watching this video until the very end and understanding these concepts could save you tens of thousands or potentially even hundreds of thousands of dollars. I pretty much guarantee that. And I know it's a bold claim to pretty much guarantee something like this, but trust me, if you watch this video until the very end and you smash that like button if you haven't already, because this video took me forever to do, you'll understand why. So let's first start with some background on the almighty Roth IRA. This is a retirement account where you can contribute and invest up to $6,000 per year with post-tax money. And after the age of 59 and a half, you can withdraw all of that money in that account and whatever profit you made completely tax-free. This means that you could potentially get decades upon decades of compound interest and growth, or hundreds of thousands of dollars in profit without paying any taxes on those gains. Now, here are some of the benefits of doing this. The first one, like I just mentioned, is that all the profit you make in this account is completely tax-free after the age of 59 and a half. Now, that could save you a lot of money by the time you retire, especially if you begin investing in this early on. Now, secondly, with the Roth IRA, you can withdraw whatever money you contribute to that account at any time, completely tax-free without paying any penalty. This means that if you contribute $6,000 to an account this year, and let's say next year it grows to $7,000, well, you could still withdraw your initial $6,000 without paying any additional tax. You must, however, leave the profit you made in the account. This gives you a lot of flexibility in the event that you need your money unexpectedly. However, unfortunately, there's no such thing as a free lunch, so these are some of the downsides. Now, first thing with the Roth IRA is that you contribute what's called post-tax money, which is the money that you've made after you've already paid taxes on it. And of course, as we all know, the money that you have left over after you pay taxes is a lot smaller than before you had the taxes taken out of that. So that just leaves you with less money up front to invest, all things considered. Now, secondly, if you want to take out your profit from this account prior to the age of 59 and a half, you're going to be subject to a 10% penalty, and you're going to have to pay taxes on that money, which pretty much defeats the entire purpose of contributing to a Roth IRA in the first place. Now, third, the contribution limit to a Roth IRA is capped right now at $6,000 per year. So if you want to contribute more than that to this account, well, you can't. But now, with that said, how does this all compare to a traditional 401k per year? So
Wait. I think you need to dig a little deeper on the pros part, because he said you can withdraw contributions without being taxed. You've been taxed already for those contributions, number one. So I would think you wouldn't get taxed again. You wouldn't get double taxed. You're not a C corp, right? Here's the thing though. The whole point of a Roth IRA is taking advantage of compound interest without taxes killing that momentum. And if you guys don't know what compound interest is, like we should do a separate video on that if you don't know what it is. But it is the power of, so you ever heard of, you save a penny a day and it doubles every day. You'll have $1 million in so much amount of time. That's compound interest. It's pretty much saying what you contribute plus whatever the interest growth is, over time it will compound into an astronomical amount of number. So let's say in the course of 10 years, you've put $60,000, because I think, what is it? Let me see. Hold on real quick. What is the max? $6,000 a year. Yeah. So the most you can put in an IRA is $6,000. So let's say in the course of 10 years, you've put $60,000 into a Roth IRA that has been earning 5 to 8% interest because you have it in a mutual fund or a few stocks or index fund, something like that. So it's been that $60,000 you put in has been earning 5 to 8%. Well, if you take that $60,000 out and you only keep the profits, well, now you're only earning interest on the profits. You're not earning interest on your contributions, the $60,000 plus the profits. Let's say in 10 years that $60,000 turned into $100,000, right? Let's just say that's a big number. That's a lot, right? Chances are that's not the case, but let's say that's what's happened. Instead of earning 5 to 8% on $100,000 in 10 years, if you're taking out all your contributions, you're only earning 5 to 8% on your profits. So in 10 years, you're only going to be earning 5 to 8% on $40,000, not $100,000. That literally kills the whole purpose of why a Roth IRA is so important. That compound interest without taxes affecting it is what makes it so powerful. So I don't know if withdrawing your contributions tax-free is a pro, because you've already paid taxes on those contributions. To me, that's not a pro. To me, putting that in here, Graham, is a little misleading. But let's continue.
So if you want to contribute more than that to this account, well, you can't. But now with that said, how does this all compare to a traditional 401k? Well, the traditional 401k is an employer-sponsored retirement plan where you contribute pre-tax money into this account, which means you won't pay any taxes on the money that you contribute. Now, because you don't have to pay any tax on the money you contribute to this account, this means that you have more money left over to invest instead of paying it to the IRS. And with that extra money, you can then go and invest it to make you even more money. Then after the age of 59 and a half, you could begin withdrawing the money that you have in a 401k, and you just end up paying the taxes you would have owed later at that time. So basically, you're avoiding paying taxes on that money right now, just to end up paying it off later at the time you actually take it out of the account. But the advantage to doing this is that you have more money left over up front to invest with, so you have a larger amount working for you to make you even more money. And just like the Roth IRA, here are the positives of doing this. The first and main benefit of doing this is that you contribute what's called pre-tax money, which means that this is money that has not been taxed, and this is actually a pretty substantial tax write-off. So this means, for example, if you're in a 32% tax bracket and you contribute $19,000 to a traditional 401k, this will save you $6,080 in taxes. And this means an additional $6,080 that you can then go and invest to work for you instead of paying that to the IRS. The second,
I will say this too. It's really hard to be in a 32% tax bracket. So the pro that he's giving, the example of a pro, is a bit far off. The chances of you being at a 32% tax rate is pretty damn low. You would be like a top 5%er. And let me explain why. These are the tax brackets. Marginal tax rates 2020. Let's take a look at this. So this is important, guys. It kills me. It like, hold on. Let me and guys, if you have any comments on this, please do comment. But hold on. Check this out. So, let me put my screen up real quick so you guys understand what I'm talking about. So, come on, right here. Right here. Let me see. No, we gotta get closer. Hold on. Right here. Boom. Focus. Focus. Let me see. All right. Can you guys see that? Yes, you can. All right. So it says from 0 to 10,000, you're paying 10%. From 10 to 40,000, you're paying 12%. From 40 to 84,000, you're paying 22%. So if you average that out, you're probably paying 15% in taxes as long as you're making 84,000 or less, right? From 84 to 160,000, you're paying 24%. You're paying 24%, right? So you're telling me if I make less than 160 grand, I'm probably paying about 18%. That's my tax rate. About 18%. Where is Graham getting 32%? Well, if you make anywhere from 100, so when you get to $254,000 a year, you're getting taxed at 32% when between 160 and 204. So check this out. From 0 to 10, you're paying 10%. From 10 to 40, you're paying 12. From 40 to 84, 22. From 84 to 160, 24. And from 160 to 204, 32. There's no way you'd be paying 32% tax unless you're making $1 million a year. If you're making $1 million a year, you might be in the 30% tax rate. But unless you're making $1 million a year, there's no way in hell you're paying 32% in taxes. And so this is why I say it's a little bit misleading, and it's a best case scenario pro that he's listing here. Okay? So no, you're not saving that much money. Most people are not saving that much money with a 401k. And if you're making $1 million a year, you're getting close to being an accredited investor. And the last thing you're thinking about is a 401k, because out of that $1 million a year that you're making, you're only allowed to invest $6,000 into a 401k. Trust me, people who are making $1 million a year have literally do not think about a 401k. You're telling me I can put $6,000. The most I could put into that 401k is $6,000, and I'm making $1 million a year. I'm looking for other investment strategies. I'm telling you right now, that's how it works. But anyways, let's continue. Oh wait, I can't hear it. Can you guys hear it? Let's go back a little bit. Oh, that's why, because I got to switch back to the screen. Let's continue. And if you guys feel I'm wrong, again, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't claim to be a guru. I'm just giving my perspective along with this video. So if you have a point that you want to put across in the comment section, please do. Wait, why is this not playing? Let's see. Oh, that's why.
$1,000 per year in a 401k, and that is more than 3 times higher than what you can do with a Roth IRA.
Oh,
third, some employers are going to offer.
So an IRA is $6,000, a 401k is $19,000, but you're making $1 million a year. You don't care about this.
For you, what's called an employer match in a 401k, and this is where they match you dollar for dollar for whatever you contribute into this account. Now, in terms of investment ROI,
this is what I'm talking about. If you have a 401k and your employer does not match, it's a waste of your time. If your employer will match it, it's the best investment vehicle out there. But they'll only match a certain percentage of your income. So if you make $100,000 and your employer says, we'll match up to 6%, we'll match up to 3%. That means, let's say they say they'll only match up to 3%, and you make $100,000 a year. The most you should put in 401k is $3,000 a year, because that's what they're gonna match. You can't get, like, that return is crazy. You should do it, right? And it's your backup. It's not something you're dependent on. My mother was dependent on her 401k and Social Security. She was ready to retire. The recession hit in 2008. She couldn't retire. She lost her 401k, vanished, right? Right now, there are people who wanted to retire this year that were depending on Social Security and depending on their 401k and depending on their pension. And they want to retire this year. They're 65, they're 70 years old, and they wanted to retire this year. They already had plans of moving to Florida. They live in New York. They were planning on moving to Florida, and they can't do it. You know why? Because coronavirus ruined everything. So now, chances are their 401k or their IRA or their pension, it will not get back to what it was just a couple months ago, just a month ago, just a couple weeks ago. It won't get back to that for a few years, for a couple years at least, I feel like. So these people who plan on retiring this year got to wait another 2 years, 3 years. You feel me? So this should be your backup plan to me, and you should only be investing in that 401k if you have a match.
This is the best guaranteed, risk-free, 100% return investment you will ever get in your entire lives. Always do this, no matter what. At least always take the employer match, and at least always smash that like button if
I agree with the employer match, and I like how you slipped in the like button because I agree with that.
you haven't already. But no, for real though, at least just promise me this is something you will do. This is one of the biggest benefits of contributing to a 401k is having the employer match. If you have this, always take advantage of it no matter what. But now, of course, with that said, unfortunately, there are some downsides with the 401k that I do want to mention. The first one is that even though you don't pay taxes on that money now and you save all of it, you're gonna end up paying taxes on that money after the age of 59 and a half whenever you take the money out of that account. So with a 401k, hopefully you're saving on taxes now when you're in a really high tax bracket to then withdraw it later.
So you gotta pay taxes on it.
You're on when maybe
there's a lot of investment strategies out there you don't got to pay no taxes on.
You're not making as much money in a lower tax bracket, and then you end up profiting that difference. Now, secondly, if you want to take out any of the money in a 401k prior to the age of 59 and a half for anything other than financial hardship, you're going to be hit with a 10% penalty, and you're going to have to pay ordinary income taxes on that money, which is a lot higher than you paying long-term capital gains because you've held that investment for a long period of time. Now, the third downside I see with this is that you're going to be forced to withdraw some of this money beginning at the age of 70 and a half, which if you want to keep it in there and just let it continue growing, well, you can't. So now with all of that said, which one is actually the better option and which one should you contribute?
Let's touch on that.
Withdraw some of this money beginning at the age of 70 and a half.
So that's a huge con to me. These rules that if you withdraw your money, you get penalties and fines and taxes. This is my money. I've worked hard for it. I've sacrificed. I've put it away responsibly. And somebody's telling me to, what to do with it. If I can find an option out there that is tax-free, that I can get a better return, and there's no rules, I'm probably going to choose that option. And there's definitely those options out there.
Which, if you want to keep it in there and just let it continue growing, well, you can't. So now with all of that said, which one is actually the better option and which one should you contribute to? So let's first start with the Roth IRA. Now, since this is done with post-tax money, meaning you don't get any immediate tax deduction on the money you contribute to this account, this is best done when you're young, in a low tax bracket, and not already making a lot of money. Or basically, it's better when you know you're going to be making more money in the future, and because of that, you're going to be in an even higher tax bracket. On the other
That is great advice, Graham. That is great. Hey, shout out to Min and whatever the last name is. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. Great advice, Graham.
On the other hand, a Roth is not a good investment if you're making a ton of money right now in your prime earning years, and you expect to make.
That's what I was saying. If you're making real money, you don't care about an IRA or a 401k. Just my opinion. A 401k, regardless of how much money you're making, you're going to invest in a 401k if your employer matches. But if they don't, it's a waste of time.
Make less money by the time you retire. Like, let's say right now you're running a business and that's making you $300,000 per year, but you know this is not going to last forever and you don't expect to really be making more than like $80,000 a year by the time you're 60. Well, in this case, you're in a high tax bracket now, but again, by the time you retire, you're going to be in a much lower tax bracket. So
So Timmy, let's talk. Let's talk to Timmy because Timmy he brought up a great point. He said the point of this though is to invest and hold until 59, not to take it out. Here's the thing. So Graham has already said, and let me go full screen on y'all. Okay, Graham has already said, if you are making real money, if you're in a higher tax bracket, it's a waste of your time. Don't even do it. 401k you should always do if you have an employer match. But if you don't have an employer match, don't waste your time. You're making a bunch of money. This is not a strategy for you. Okay. And then Timmy, he said the point though is to invest and hold until 59, not to take it out. Where Graham says, if you're just starting out, you're not making a lot of money, you should do this. Where my argument is, an IRA, the most you can put in is $6,000. If I got $6,000, I'm not putting into an IRA. Not unless I want to retire when I'm 60 or older, right? If I want to retire, or I'm not even going to say retire because nobody really retires. Even when you're 60 years old, you don't really retire. You get bored if you retire. I don't know any people who retire that just sit on their couch and do nothing, right? People get bored. They want to do other things. So you need money to do other things. You don't just retire and stop doing stuff, right? The word retire should be replaced with financially free, okay? If you want to be financially free while you can still jump, run, lift weights, like be active and young and alive and excited to go out there and stuff, like, I don't know, and healthy, right? Like, I'm not dissing old people, but you get what I'm saying. If that's what you want to do, I would take that $6,000 that people are telling you to put into a IRA and I'd start a business. I literally broke down. Take $1,000 and open a lemonade stand. I said this is the last live stream. How much money can you make off a lemonade stand a week? If you put $1,000 into a lemonade stand, how much do you think you can make a week? Let's say it's $100. Take 2 weeks off a year. That's a $5,000 return on your $1,000 investment. Do that 6 times in 6 different cities, 6 different counties, 6 different neighborhoods. I don't know. Obviously, it's a stupid example, but that's the purpose. I made a stupid example to show you guys a real result. Like, you can put $6,000. I can show you how to open a barbershop with $6,000. A barbershop that'll make you $1,000 every single month. I could teach you how to open a $6,000 barbershop and make $12,000 back this year alone. You cannot show me an investment strategy out there that comes even close. And what I'm saying is, if you're just starting out, your best investment is sweat equity, it's power of broke, bootstrapping. Yo, I started a $1 million company, a multi-million-dollar company, making a shave gel in my kitchen. What I'm saying is, I would prioritize being innovative, being creative, bootstrapping over putting $6,000. Your only $6,000 you got saved up that you can invest into a 401k or an IRA. That's my advice. That's my perspective, I should say. But I'm not right. I'm not right for everyone. You get what I'm saying? I'm not right for everyone. Some people, what Graham is saying is perfect for them. Okay? So I just want to make sure that that's clear. That's trading time, though. It's a passive investment. What's a passive investment? What is a passive investment? Oh, I see what you're saying, Timmy. That's a great point. But again, if your strategy is to retire at 60, go passive with no money. Right? Most people go passive when they have money. Wealthy, if your goal is to build wealth, generational wealth, They don't go passive when they don't have money. People who want to build wealth and generational wealth in this lifetime, they're not going passive when they're broke. They're going passive when they're rich, right? Mayweather is a great example. Put in work, made a lot of money. Now he's passive. At 41, he decided to be passive after making $1 billion in his career, right? And this is Basio Builds Wealth. That's what the channel is. It's about building wealth. I would tell you, do not go passive if you're not making money. You have no business being passive when you're not making real money. Gert said, instead of a lemon stands, can't I start small group where you can teach barbering for money like a mini academy? Of course, of course. Everyone hit that like button. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hit the like button. So for me, an IRA is not an option. A 401k is not an option. For me, a business is always the first option. A business or a piece of property. So compound interest at age 18 to 59, then you're a millionaire. I know exactly how it works, Timmy. But I want people to be millionaires by the time they're 30, by the time they're 20. If you're 18, I can show you how to be a millionaire by the time you're 25. I can show you how to do that. Here's what I would do. And here's what I did. I was 23 years old when I bought my first house. Check this out. I took $10,000. Okay. I took my $7,000 tax return because I had 2 kids. I'm 23 years old, 2 kids. Take my $7,000 tax return, add $3,000 to it, and I bought my first piece of property. And the way I did this was through an FHA loan that requires you to put 3.5% down on a piece of property. So I put 3.5% down on this piece of property. I lived in it for 2 years. I fixed it up while I was living there, and then I rented it out. While I was renting it, I was making $600 a month in passive income. $600 a month in passive income. For your IRA to make you that type of return, you will be in year 20 investing into your IRA to make that type of return. I was doing it at 23, right? While I was doing this, the home was building appreciation and my tenant was paying down the loan. So I had equity in that house. When I sold the house, because I sold it within 5 years and I lived in it for 2, the profits were 100% tax free. I made $60,000 off of that deal, not including the cash flow. If you include the cash flow, I made another $12,000, $15,000 on top of that 60. I made $72,000 off of this deal in 4 years, tax free, legally. What I would suggest to people is do this every year. Buy one of these homes every single year. Every year. On top of that, I did not mention the tax benefits of it. You see, when you own rental property, you can depreciate the property. This depreciation is one of the best, is probably in the top 2, top 3 best tax deductions, best tax strategies you can use out there. So if I include my tax savings, nothing even comes close. You should start a business, own real estate. Those are the 2 best vehicles for tax savings, for returns, for all that. Again, an IRA and a 401k is my last option. Unless I'm getting a 100% match from my employer. So Hoffa said, where do you find a piece of property at? How much is needed? I would join as many real estate investment clubs as possible. Look up RIAs in your neighborhood. I would join them. I would talk to real estate agents and ask them to add you to your list. What happens is every week they're probably going to mail you what they have available. You look at the information and you got to figure it out from there. Timmy said, that's dope. Thank you for your perspective. I'll be purchasing your foundations course one day, but first I got to buy my first foil shaver. Haha. That's what's up. Did you switch from FHA to something different to rent it? Why or why not? No. With an FHA, it has to be your primary property for 1 year. You guys get that, right? It has to be your primary property for 1 year. The moment you live in it for a year, you turn it into a rental property after that 1 year. So you got a year to fix it up. It took me 2 to do it. But you got a year to fix it up, turn it into a rental property. Once it's a rental property, guess what? You could do another FHA. FHA is not first-time home buyer. That's not what it is. It's a program that helps you with your primary home. As a matter of fact, you can use a FHA. This might have changed. I don't know. I'm not a real estate agent or a mortgage broker. But you could use a FHA on a secondary home as long as it's your home. Right? Luke said, Basio, I'm 19 and have $5K ready to invest. The best option is a house or a shop? A shop. A shop, because a shop will... Here's the thing. It depends on who you are. It depends if you're ready for a shop and owning a business, right? A shop is going to give you a bigger return on your investment. But if you're not a businessman, if you're not ready, if you don't know how to operate a business, if you don't know leadership, if you're young and people probably won't respect you just from profiling you, right? I would say go with a home first and then do the business. But generally speaking, return on your investment, a business. Could we say not spending money on small things like clothes and even something small as Coke? These things add up to thousands of very little to save up. I would say, look, saving money on not buying a Coca-Cola or buying a t-shirt is not your biggest problem. If that's a problem, if you think that that's taking a big chunk of your income throughout the year, you just need to make more money. You need to figure out how to make more money. And I would focus my time on making more money. Primary property being where you live. Yes, where you live. What is an LLC or S corps? I think I covered that topic, but we could cover that on the next live stream. Can you talk about the steps of opening multiple locations when you are ready for the next? What steps do you do to manage, oversee? I mean, it's 2020. There's plenty of softwares, apps, things like that you can manage shops remotely. But I would say that you don't open your second location unless your first location will run, regardless if you're there or not. Right? Does that make sense? So, we would need to make a whole nother video for something like that. Would you say it's smart to buy a house and rent it to family members? No. Don't do business with family. Don't rent your home to family. No. As a matter of fact, this is what I did with my first tenants. I was not the owner of the house. Whoa, what you mean? So, according to my tenants, I was not the owner. I was the property manager. My wife was the owner. So I would refer to my wife as Justine. Justine has to be the good guy. I'm the bad guy. I am the property manager. So listen, Justine, I'm letting you right now. She does not play when it comes to getting her rent on time. She will evict you. Please, if you're running behind on rent, you gotta let me know so I can figure things out with her. But the last thing you want to do is be late with rent with Justine. I know her. I've been managing properties for her for months, for years, and she evicts people no problem. I have to fight with her. You want to do bad cop, good cop, right? If Justine has to step in, that's when they know it's a wrap. You know what I mean? But you never want to be taken as the owner of the property. Girl said, if I make $100 a day and work 6 days, that's $600 and 2,400, 28,000 a year. What do I need to make even close to 175K? You gotta make way more money. You gotta make way more money, bro. You need to make 250, 300 a day. You need to make 250, 300 a day and live off of 28. So if you make 250, 300 a day, that's triple what you make now. You'll go from 28 to 90K, live on 28. So if you can live on what you're making right now, beautiful. You're in a good place, Gurge. You're in a great place. If you can live off of 28 a year, you're in a great place. Because now you are motivated to get to 90, to get to triple. If you can get to double, that means you can save $30,000 a year. Don't change your lifestyle. Don't go buy a new car. Don't move into a new house. Don't change your lifestyle. Most people can't save $30,000 in the next 10 years. You're gonna be saving 30K every year. Let's get you to 90. You're gonna be saving $60,000 a year, bro. Most people can't do that in 10 years. You save 60 grand a year in 3 years. How much are you gonna have? Think about that. You're gonna have $180,000 in the bank. You will be able to go put a down payment on $1 million property, bro. I mean, not $1 million property, but close to it. Save for 4 years. That's 240 grand. Okay, in 4 years, you'll be able to put a down payment on $1 million property, bro. You'll probably be able to retire after that, but you're not. You're gonna be financially free after that. So that's the plan. Let's do that. You live off 28,000 a year. You get to 90. You save 60. You don't change your lifestyle. Save 60 a year for 4 years. Buy $1 million property. Rent that mother out. You are financially free. I just gave you a 4-year plan as opposed to a 40-year plan that everybody's trying to tell you to do with a 401k or IRA. That's what I'm saying. I'm 15 years old. I'm interested in barbering and business studies, but where do I start? Barbering and business. That's where you start. Paul, you're 15 years old. Get into barbering. You're now in business. You know why? Because you got to be able to promote yourself. You got to be able to build your clientele. You have to do monetary transactions. You have to market yourself. This is all business 101, right? All right, guys. But we've been live for 38 minutes. I'm going to end this video. I think I'm done for the rest of the night. If you guys learned anything, please do subscribe, smash the like button. It helps the channel out, and share the video, man. It really helps the channel. I want to continue to do this. I could literally do this every single night because I love this topic. I love this. This is my passion. And yeah, if the support is there, if the feedback is strong, we'll continue to do this. So thank you guys for being a part of this. And yeah, hopefully you guys learned something. But y'all have a good night, man. Take care.